All right. Listen, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you are watching. You are joining us here at WKRB 90.3. This is the Radio Club Hub. And I am your DJ, Nady Nate. You know, I'm the country cousin. That's why I went with Nady Nate. You know, I'm not originally from New York. But today I have joining me Professor John Jastremski. I got the name right. Thank you. And today we're focusing on the Finance Club. And so I'm going to have Professor Jastremski to tell me just a little bit about yourself. Let's start off with just learning more about who you are before we get into any discussions.
Oh, now this wasn't on the list of questions, so yeah, but I'm fine. I think I could tell you about myself. So I am a longtime educator. This is my third career, and I'm surprised that I got into the field of education because I started out in a completely different direction. I ran a retail business for 12 years. It was part of my family business, so they kind of like sucked me into it. I should have known better. I didn't want to do it. I didn't like doing it. I couldn't wait to get out of that business, and I finally did, but it took me 12 years to do it, and transitioned into education. While I was making the transition, so actually I didn't intend to transition into education. I intended to transition into the world of CPAs.
Okay.
And I applied to business school and have an MBA from Baruch College, an accounting MBA. And while I was developing these credentials, I got a job. It was a full-time job, but to me, after running a small company, it seemed like a part-time job. But I got a job working for the Department of Education teaching high school kids accounting.
Oh, wow.
So I taught at a business high school. We had 3,000 students. It was an amazing school. It really was a nice school. And along the way of taking and passing the CPA exam and stepping into the world of finance and business, I kind of fell in love with teaching and discovered that that was really my passion. And lo and behold, I end up not going into account. Well, I did some accounting work, not a huge amount, some tax work, some write-up work, but I also had this tremendous opportunity when I was beginning in education to work for a program called Virtual Enterprises. A story for another day, but just real quickly, what it is it's a simulation that enables students to learn about business by running a business. Okay. And the businesses that they run are virtual because the products and services aren't real, but everything else about the whole experience was real. So it was tremendous. I mean, I ended up traveling all over the world because this program is in 43 countries, and it was really a great run. Towards the end or the middle of that run, I started teaching at the college.
Okay.
And I always I don't know, I mean, I was crazy. I don't know what it is I liked about school so much, but I really did. I started teaching at the college in 2006. I was at Queensborough for quite a few years and made my way over to Kingsborough here. One of the faculty members got sick. They needed somebody to fill in, and there I was, ready to go. And so that's how many years later? Oh, my God, 8 years later at
wow.
Kingsborough. But it's been a happy run, and I retired from full-time service to the DOE about 4 years ago, but I still work part-time supporting a CTE high school in Brighton Beach, Grady High School. They have a lot of programs, culinary arts, nurse assisting, automotive technology, construction technology, IT. So you know what, man, that's my life. I mean, I'm living the dream here.
So you are definitely qualified to be in the position that you are in.
Oh, thank you.
So I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and join us today just to talk about, we're focusing today on the Finance Club.
Yeah.
And you are the advisor for the Finance Club?
I am the faculty advisor.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I know Kingsborough, we have an incredibly diverse student population here, and we represent so many communities, so many different cultural backgrounds. How important do you think topics such as financial literacy are on a campus like this with so much of a diverse population of students?
Wow. Well, let me tell you, Nate. I mean, so I was a tax professional, and I have to say that there were nights I would go home and kind of cry, recognizing how many people were having tax returns prepared for them that they knew nothing about, nothing about taxes, nothing about personal finance. I could see the kinds of mistakes that they were making, and it just made me realize how financially illiterate so many people are. Unfortunately for them, listen, it's not necessarily a requirement in the curriculum for most schools. For high schools, still to this day, there is not a financial literacy required course. Now, they're changing that for next year at long last. At the college, quite frankly, you can graduate with a degree here and not have to take a single course in financial literacy, and yet you're going to be thrown into an environment where the decisions that you make the wrong decisions, boy, hey, it could hold you back for your whole life. So, oh yeah, I'm a firm believer, and I very, very much welcome the opportunity to try to help people to understand these topics. And listen, it's not rocket science. That's the sad part. It's the basics. It's just the fundamentals. Like, don't make these mistakes that a lot of people make, and it will make a huge difference in your life. So I feel strongly about it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that should be addressed at the high school level, because even when you come into college, trying to figure out how to pay for college takes a certain level of
100%.
Like, you have to have an understanding of finance. You need financial literacy to even figure out how you're going to pay for college, to factor in how much longer after graduating you're going to be paying for college, which a lot of people end up in that place. So
for sure, and to help you pick your major. Like, once you realize like what the big picture is, it's like, oh, why would I want to study that and not study that? So it's 100%.
And so, are these topics that you all discuss in Finance Club, or these things that come up? What is the main purpose and mission of the Finance Club?
Well, first of all, this wasn't my idea. Okay, I got recruited. I got an email from a student, and God bless him. I was like I couldn't say no to this kid. It's like, oh my God. I mean, he's this committed. I mean, of course I'm going to do it.
You got to love it. That means they like you. They want to spend more time around you.
Well, he did say he thought I would do a good job as the faculty advisor. I was like, okay, this guy, he's got the sales pitch down too. But he made the case and said, look, he wants to be a finance major. We do not offer finance as a major here. He'll study that at the 4-year school where he's going. But he wanted to kind of like get his feet wet, and there were topics, finance-related topics that he thought were relevant to, what I'm teaching and what he's learning. So, he made the pitch, look, let's have a finance club. We haven't had one. I did a little work finding out that there used to be a finance club, but it's many, many years ago. No opportunity available for the kids. They want to do it. Okay, I'm in. So he made the case, and then what was the objective? Was that the basic?
Yeah, what's the purpose and the mission?
Well, that's a good question, because I did a little research. Now, by the way, finance and accounting are cousins.
Okay.
But I'm an accounting professor. Mm-hmm. I'm not a finance professor. I'm not a finance professional. So I wouldn't normally, like if this was a school that had a finance department, I would defer to the finance professor to run this club. But of course, you pass the CPA exam, you've got to know some things about personal finance and finance. So not that I didn't feel like I couldn't support the club, which I am, but the objective of the club, I started thinking about that. Hey, is this a club like most finance clubs where the students are in it because they're thinking about a career in finance? Or is this a finance club that exists to give students an opportunity to just kind of develop their understanding of finance and maybe focus on personal finance, because that relates to everybody? And so the club kind of is trying to do two things.
Okay. Yeah. So they're leading the necessity for the club. They're leading what the club will basically be focused on, right? So it's student-led in that way, and you just kind of guide them through that?
Yeah, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, there are certain things, like I had no experience as a faculty advisor for a club, by the way, so when I was reading like the regulations that are in place, I did get the impression that it's like, look, you're not here to call all the shots. Let the kids call the shots and support them and keep them on the right path, but this is really for them to decide what this is going to look like. And we've had a good relationship. I mean, I've been making some recommendations they've been responsive to, and It's so far so good.
I like it. I mean, you seem easy to talk to. You seem
Oh,
like
yeah.
somebody I would come to for advice.
Because we
Definitely
don't each
funny.
other. There's no money involved. That's why I'm easy to talk to.
Exactly. That's you're not looking at my money trying to get it straight, and I'm not asking you for money. So I think we're good. Okay, you've been doing a fantastic job answering these questions.
Thank you.
Now I want to launch within the Club Hub. I'm trying to start when I do these interviews a segment I call 8 with Nate. So I'm gonna throw out 8 questions.
Sure.
And answer them to the best of your ability, as accurate as possible.
Sure.
And I'm gonna try to do that in 8 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start my timer now. First question: what kind of activities and events or opportunities does the club have for the students?
So I have lament the fact that many students in the business department are taking these classes remotely and that they're not on campus. And they're not getting the opportunity to interact with other students and industry professionals and faculty. So one of the objectives of this club is to give students a reason to be on campus. Right. Because this experience is not about a remote experience. This is an experience where you want to come together. So to support that, my priority has been to identify guest speakers.
Okay.
To come to meet with the students and talk to them. And we've had so far 3 meetings, because we started in the spring term.
Okay.
Right? And the first 2, I had a former virtual enterprise student from West Hempstead High School who now works for an investment bank. And he is on his way. He's got this great career going. And I asked him to come, speak to the students, explain to them, share with them what's your journey been like, what should they do, what shouldn't they do, tell us about the courses, what kind of work is available, how do you like it, blah, blah, blah. Kids loved it. Kids, they weren't kids, they're students. They loved it. Our next guest was a colleague of mine from Germany who has, he developed his own company, Can Do Gram, and what his company does is it helps people to understand the job market, find a job, and apply for a job.
Okay.
With data, I mean, huge, just amazing. So
it sounds like a great opportunity for students and even, faculty in some cases.
Absolutely.
You guys are open, the doors
yeah.
open, or if you're in a larger space. If
Yeah.
I hear about it, I definitely would be there.
Yeah.
And who would benefit from joining the club? I know I just mentioned a couple of people who could benefit, but are there certain majors or hobbies or interests?
There are actually 2 groups here, and I know I have some students that are really hardcore committed to, I want to be a finance major, and that's why I want to be in this club.
Okay.
But I also have a lot of students who are business students, and my accounting students, they're not all accounting majors. Most business majors, you need to take accounting 1 and 2, so I'll have those students. And I encourage them to take part, and they have joined the club. And they're not looking to be a finance analyst, but they do want to understand financial issues better. They want to develop financial literacy. So we are making sure that that's part of what we do in the club meeting. So it's not just for the one group, it's for the both groups. So
okay, and so
basically appeal to everybody.
Okay, I was just about to ask, you mentioned 2 different groups. Do students need to be in those groups to join the club, or do they have to have some kind of experience, or just
I
a
have
desire
not
to
been
know?
actively recruiting. That really was the responsibility for the president of the club. And
Right.
I know he's been promoting with flyers and things. I would say the door is open to anybody who's interested. We would welcome them. And by the way, I did send an email out to all my colleagues in the business department to let them know that this club exists and this is when we meet. And if you have anybody who'd like to come, including yourself, you're more than welcome to come to the meeting.
Well, that leads me to the next question. When and where does the club meet? Because I've got a few different clubs that I'm in now. But when and where do they meet?
So we were going to be meeting in the conference room in the business department, which is a lovely space. But the problem is the projectors. They're not LED projectors, or they're coaxial.
So you mean Kingsborough has older
I
projectors?
think we need to get that up to date. If we could, I would like to meet in that room.
Maybe you guys can help them financially. You could guide them
Yeah,
through,
don't
and they
count
can
on
make
that.
financial choices to get us some updated projectors.
So until that situation is rectified, we've been in a classroom, 366, M366,
366,
and whatever.
M366. That's over in the M building.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
366.
That's
All right.
right.
And you're located over there, right? Because
Yes.
I swung by your office
Yeah.
earlier. I was trying to catch you before you started class.
Yep.
Let's see. How how do they get involved? Do they just show up? Do they email you? Do they email the president? Who is the president?
I will put a sign up form. I create a Google form, and then we email it out. And the president puts these flyers out and sends a blast. He's using WhatsApp. He's got a group. I have a distribution list on email for students who have attended or have expressed an interest in attending, and I push the messaging out to them. I don't know that everybody who might be interested is necessarily finding out that the meetings are going to take place, so that's a communications issue, which maybe for next year we could figure out a better way to do it.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you know what's coming up next for the students? What's
the
club doing
so we
next?
have our final meeting is scheduled for June 4th. I think that's the date, which is a Thursday.
Okay, June 4th.
Not far away. 3 o'clock in 366. And I am waiting to hear back from a financial professional from OSAIC, the OSAIC Foundation.
Okay.
And the focus will be on personal financial literacy. So this speaker, once we get them, will be in the work of supporting individuals in, financial counsel, financial management for them. And their mission is to promote financial literacy for individuals. So there would be a perfect guest. I just, hoping that we get them to commit.
Okay, and again, that was Thursday, June 4th in M366.
Yes.
Okay, and
3 o'clock.
At 3 p.m. Yes, I will probably be here, but I may make it over. We'll see.
Hey, Nate, I'd love to have you, man. You bring your team over.
So, with that, what has been your favorite moment or experience with this club so far as an advisor?
Well, I have to say, the two guest speakers were fabulous. And I don't want to call them guest speakers because they were participants. They came and they really engaged with everybody. That was great. But for the last meeting, we didn't, it's not so easy to get people to come on campus, by the way. Surprise, surprise. So we didn't have a guest for the last meeting. But what I asked the students to do instead, and I told them that we had two things here that I also wanted to add to the menu. One was participating in the stock market game.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the stock market game.
I am not.
So it's a great opportunity. Again, it's an activity that's sponsored by a foundation. This is the SIFMA Foundation, which was developed back in the 80s. Sandy Weil, CEO of Citibank, wanted to promote financial literacy, so he funded this foundation with millions and millions and millions.
Okay.
And their work is to spread financial training throughout the country. And one of the ways they do it is they have this stock market game where you go in, you get a fictitious $100,000 portfolio, and you start trading. And they have a platform set up, so it's just like the real world. Any instrument that you buy, whether it's a stock, mutual fund, or a bond, you're buying it based on what the price is that day at the close of business. You place your orders through their platform, and then you wake up the next day and say, oh, damn, I bought 10 shares of NVIDIA. Thank God, I did. We measure to see what does your portfolio look like at the end of the session. And then I think we have a little cash prize for the winner. So we had a bunch of kids sign up to do it. So I like that. Then the other thing is I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett. Who isn't? And Warren Buffett wrote a book. Actually, his niece wrote a book, how to read financial statements and discover which firm has a competitive long-term advantage. That really is the strategy that underpins the Berkshire Foundation, or the Berkshire Group, Berkshire Hathaway, his company. And by the way, shares in Berkshire Hathaway, it's like $200,000 a share.
Wow.
So they don't split. Very successful. He's the greatest investor ever.
See, that in this, even what you're talking about now, that's another group that would be fantastic to join this if you want to know about the stock market.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Get into understanding what that looks like, and this opportunity would definitely be fantastic.
Yeah, we got to promote it more. Maybe Nate, you got to use the radio to help us promote this for next year.
That's what we're doing now.
All right.
So stop by and see us next year. Stop by early. We can try to get you locked in. That way we can do as many stocks as possible. Bring at least 2 more people with you. You see, we got multiple microphones here.
Okay, yeah, no, I'd love to bring the president. The president can come.
Yes, please. What's the president's name?
Elliot Weiss.
Elliot Wise. Yes, we've seen posters of Elliot Wise around the campus. I have seen it. Yeah.
So anyway, to finish the answer, so what we asked students to do was and we gave a copy of his book to everybody who joined the club. And you didn't have to pay. Just if you want it, here's a copy of the book. It's a lovely book, short, easy to read. I'm happy because a lot of the accounting stuff that I'm teaching, the students are applying and they see it in this book. So it's like, oh, that's why it's in the textbook, because you really have to know how to do this stuff. And so what we did for the last meeting was gave students a chance to perform some financial analysis. I picked 2 companies, Target and Amazon, and they had a chance to take a look at their financial statements, pick some of the ratios that Warren Buffett recommends, do a little analysis, draw some conclusions, speak to the group, tell them what they found. And I'm sitting there and it's like, you know what? This is pretty cool. It's good stuff.
Listen, it also, now I'm even more interested in joining the club myself.
All right.
I was going to be a tight squeeze on Thursdays at 3 p.m.
We want you.
But I would definitely do my best to come by. Listen, thank you so much, Professor Jastremski, for stopping by and just sharing more about the Finance Club with us, and even sharing more about yourself, the electric personality you have. I can understand why the students ask you to be the advisor for the club. And
thank you.
Anytime you want to come by and promote what you're doing, please just stop. Let us know. Come by.
Right.
You have our emails. Just shoot out an email. Let us know that you or your students want to come by. You want to promote something. If it's here on campus, we can do our best to try to get you in to do that. But again,
I appreciate that.
Thanks for stopping by. Again, y'all, I am Nate, your country cousin DJ.
Where are you from, by the way?
I am from Texas originally.
Texas?
Yeah,
oh my God.
I have fought the accent for a while.
Wow.
So, it goes in and out.
You got a great radio voice, though.
Well,
you do have the voice. You got the pipes.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
But again, you guys have been watching WKRB and our Club Hub here. So we thank y'all so much for joining us. And again, a special shout out to Professor Jastremski for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Y'all have a fantastic week. I was waiting for them.